Hello and welcome back to part 2 of me completing Santa's face for the Hugo handbag. This is what we're finishing up. So just a real quick recap. We're sewing, we're putting his face, applique in the face together. This is not really so much as a tutorial per se. It's just me showing how I construct the face and put it on. I sew on a domestic, so some of the spots kind of might be a little more difficult. So I talk about interfacing and things of that nature. And I went over all of that in the first video. So if you catch me on the second one, you can go back to the first and I go over the interfacing choices or how, or what I put the pieces onto, versus, what thickness of something I put it on, basically. But anyway, so that's in the first video. I'm not going to go into all that and make this video too long. So this is what we're doing. So in the first video, we got the lower half of Santa's face done. So we put this on down first, and then we sewed on the beard. Now, when I originally put it on, it just says sew the beard on, and I didn't attach this part first. So when I sewed on the beard, there was a slight shifting of the face. It kind of, when I sewed it down, this, I'll try to point it to you here a little bit. This part of the face didn't catch the stitch, or let's say the stitch didn't catch the face. So it pulled a little bit. So in hindsight, I should have sewn the face on to my stabilizer. I'll call it my stabilizer because it's not really interfacing. So I should have sewed the face onto the stabilizer first, then sewed on the beard. So that's just something for knowledge if somebody wants, for future, wants to take note of that. That might be something that they want to do themselves. That way it avoids either shifting or puckering, because if I had sewn it down first, even if I had missed a stitch of that would pucker out a little bit. So what I did before I went on the video is I went in and all I did was just stitch from here to here. I just did a top stitch to hold it on so that doesn't pucker anymore, because I still got to put his hat on. So because you can see right there is, and I just kind of pushed it up under in there and then just sewn it from that point forward. And that won't show when I put his little hat on. It'll cover this very top edge up. So we won't be able to see that. And then again, you can see a little bit of puckering in my face. But when we put the bag together and sew everything together, it will pull some of that a little bit tauter. You might see, but might be able to push some of it around when we put it. Plus, I still got to put his eyes on as well, eyes and cheeks. So that'll help move some of that puffiness, but no real big puckers. I don't see any puckers on his little face. So that's that. All right. So anyways, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get his hat on, get him finished up. The hat part won't take long, and then I'll show you. I'm going to use the ears, because the ears, she says, are optional, but I'm going to go ahead and put the ears on and the ball on top of his little hat. So the next step after the last thing we did was the nose. So we're going to go ahead and put on his hat and then his eyes and cheeks. So, the hat, let's see. It says, layer the band of his cap over the red part. Layer the band of his cap. Okay, so I guess they consider, whoops, that's not the piece I want. I guess they consider this the band of his cap. I was thinking more of it was his hair, but oh well. Okay, so that's the band of his cap over the red part. So obviously that means we're going to put the red part on first. So we'll put the red part on, and then we put the band of the cap on. My red part, like Santa's red part of his hat looks a little wrinkled. He must have not tucked it away very well when he stored it away for next year. But then again, Santa never comes out of his little Santa outfit. Anyways. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark my center, and I'm not going to clip or anything on this. Well, maybe just the tiniest, like I did on his, I don't know. I think it was his nose or something. I don't remember. I did it earlier. I recorded the first part of it earlier today, and this is later at night. And I wanted to go ahead and get this done real quick. The teeniest, tiniest little snip, just so I can mark it. It'll be caught in the seam allowance, so you won't see it. And I'm just going to match that up with my little center point here. This is on the edge, and I tell you what, I think I'm just going to clip it rather than mess with double-sided tape. So I'm just going to clip it down, and then that way, and I'm going to start, so we don't have to worry about doing any kind of tying off of threads. I am going to start my stitching. I'm going to start my stitching here up at the top, because that'll be caught in the seam allowance of the bag. So I'm going to start my stitching up here. So then I'll just back stitch and then go around. Again, I'm at a 4.0 on my domestic on the stitch length. I like that. And oh, I need to change my thread. I forgot to change it real quick. I just used this tan-ish color to do the stitching down of his face, to hold his face down. So let me get this put away real fast. All right. Get my red thread and get that pulled up real fast. Trying to not take too long. Oh, God goodness. Uh-oh. Now you get to see the whole mess of the house, of the basement, I should say. Okay. Sorry about that jolt of the camera. Let me do this. But anyways, again, this is later at night, so I just want to get his face done, and half asleep here, so if you can bear with me. Okay, there we go. And again, I am using just a white cotton thread in my bobbin, since it's not showing. Number one, it's a lot cheaper. And number two, it is a thinner weight thread. So that can help too in my stitching. And it doesn't look like, and there's no, not having any problems with my tension on the bottom, using the two different types of threads. No tension issues. Sometimes you have little different little issues with your bobbin when you use two different weights of threads, and I'm not having any. So I'm gonna get a hold of my threads and hold them so it doesn't suck it in. So let's go ahead and get a stitch here. All right, back stitched. Oh, I need to get my camera so you don't want to watch my face as I sew. Let's do it. There we go. You can see the sewing. See me actually sew it. Get this crap out of my way. There we go. I think that'll work. Okay, so I've got my back stitch, my back stitch in. So we're going to go ahead and go forward and get this sewn. And this is just, you're going around the exterior. So this is pretty easy. You don't have too much stopping and starting on this part, because there's no tight circles. You do want to try to get to the edge as close as you can on that cap, on the point of the cap, because when you start doing the putting them all together, that won't get lost. That won't get stuck outside of the seam allowance. So you want to try to do that as quick. And this, and actually, to be honest, I don't think any of this stitching shows. And what I'm doing too, just to let you know, is I am pushing down on the vinyl, pushing it down and into that. So there's number one, there's no puckering. Try as little puckering as you can. And number two, trying to keep it as straight as you can without it shifting. Especially since I didn't double-sided tape. A lot of people will go and probably a good little double-sided tape in the center, which is an option. You can do that. But again, I use not really a heavier, but I use a stickier type of, not double-sided. There is like one that's stickier than this. But oh, my corner picked up. There we go. My machine hates it, even though I love it. So anyway, all right. Oh, I forgot the back tack. There we go. All right. All right. So let me get my threads out. I need to pull them out a little more. I like longer threads, so it's a good way, so it's easier for me to grab hold of them and hold them. Okay, so there is the top of his hat. So we're going to go and put this, where's my, then we're going to put the band. So we got the band of the hat goes over top that. So it'll cover up his top of his beard, and then it covers up the lower portion of his hat. So that all gets covered up. So what I'm going to do is, I think, yeah, you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure, if you can look on the side here, I think, yeah, you can see it. So if you look on the side here, you can see some of the red, where this overlaps some of the red, and then overlaps some of the white. Here's where the white ends, and then obviously that's where the red ends. You can see that better. So I want to try to make sure that's as equal distance as possible in my overlapping, so that way it's not way off. And actually looking at this looks like it's probably about a ½ inch on each. You can measure. I mean, it's not like you can't. You don't have to, but you don't have to. You can eyeball it. But I'm looking at what, about 3/8 there. Just a tad over 3/8 here. So this is a pretty good spot here. I'm going to clip that on the end here. What I'm going to do, because I know there's not going to be any sewing going on in the center of this, I'm going to go ahead and put some double-sided tape in the center. Now, I'm not going to go crazy. I'll probably take a strip and go, and again, I'm using my 1/8 inch double-sided tape, the skinny stuff. I think it's the skinniest you can get. That way, it runs very little risk of me running into it. So let's do that. All right. And I'm just going to lift up, since I've got that already holding with my, I am just going to do like that. And I'm going to put another one on this side. Because it's thicker, because the vinyl's thick, it's a heavier vinyl, and I'm going over, it'll be sewing 3 layers, because it'll be going over, because there won't be any in between sewing, like we're just being sewn onto my stabilizer. I'm going to be sewing 3 layers on each side, the top and the bottom. So I want to hold it in place and make sure there's no shifting and tugging, because this, well, again, it's thicker, and the vinyl it's not sticky, but it's a little what do I want to say? The vinyl is grabs a little, I guess you could say. I don't know what the best word. Whereas this is, it's pebbled, and it's not as grabby. Honestly, I can't think of a better word to say. Hopefully, if you are hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Maybe if you're a bag maker or has made bags or something before, worked with vinyl, you might know what I'm talking about when I say grabbier. Okay, so let's go to the other side. I'm not going to push down on it yet until I get this side situated. So let's go ahead. And there is a little bit, it looks like there's going to be a little bit of overhang, which is fine. That can always be trimmed off. But first, let's measure. So we know on the other side, it's roughly 3/8 inch. So there's about 3/8 there. Let's see what we got here. That's almost a 1/2 inch there. Let me go just a smidgen up. So we're at 3/8. Let's go up. There we go. That's 3/8 now. So there's 3/8 there. Roughly 3/8 there. Almost. Okay. So we're going to put this down here. There. So I'm going to go ahead and just push it down to go all the way across. And I'm going to do that. There we go. So there's his, so there is his little headband, his little hat. What's she calling it? The ears? Okay. Yeah, so we got his little band of his cap there. I'm going to go ahead and throw a clippy on this side, even though there's a little tape in there. I'm not going to trim that little excess off yet until I get done sewing. And I actually am going to start on this side. Since there's a little excess on this side, I'm going to start on this side and sew toward this end. There's just a tad bit hanging over here, but I think that's what I'll do. Oh, this is white. I need to change out my thread. Sorry, guys. I probably could sew red thread on there and give it a little contrast, but I'm not, because number one, I don't really want that contrast, and number two, if I mess up, it will be really, really noticeable. That's why I'm trying to stay away from contrasting thread. So let's get my white here. So, and sorry for all the switching around of the thread. In this two little sew with me kind of deal. Again, I'm doing it so because I wanted all my threads to blend as much as possible, so it doesn't take away from his face. Sometimes you can put a thread on there and it will just be the cutest thing, and it will just make the bag pop on certain threads. Like on that Let's School thread that I used on the pumpkin bags and the ghost bag. It just made the bags pop. And that was a great choice. But this, I kind of wanted to keep it matching. All right, so let's go ahead and get this going here. Enough talking. My back, so I'm going to do 2 stitches and back up. There we go. All right, let's see. We got just be careful. Just try to keep it as close to 1/8 of an inch, or maybe just a smidgen less than 1/8. And then just kind of keep, again, just trying to keep your piece as flat as you can. Watch it, because your vinyl most likely will stretch a tad bit, so you just got to try to keep the best you can. And that's kind of why I started on the side that had the most hanging, over, because I know it will pull. And I don't want it to pull away from the side that had the least in case it goes past it, because I've had problems where I've done that and then I end up having a gap or something because my vinyl pulled. All right, so we're going to get that. Now we're going to do this. Now I'm going to push down on his face a little bit, since there's a little bit of, it's not really a pucker. It's just because I'm sewing this onto a piece of stabilizer, and it's not like glued down, or it's not fusible or anything. There is an air pocket, like you guess you could say. I'm going to push down on that face to help with that air pocket a little bit. Down, there we go. I'm just applying pressure the best I can to try to keep everything, and just trying to keep as close to that edge without making it look real bad. Sometimes I'll stop again and lift my foot up to help release the pressure. I don't know if that's a thing. It just helps me. And now you got to be careful. I'm already seeing where it's pulling. I wish I could show you on the camera. It's on this side. I don't know if I can show you. Maybe I'll just do it this way. So, here we go. Let's go back a little bit. I want to show you what's happening on his face. So, right here, the little band is pulling this away. And notice I told you, I mean, I've got a good overhang, but it's pulling. And what's happening is if I'm not careful, you're going to see the stitching where that little extra stitching I did on his face, because I was trying to keep that the face piece down. You're going to see that stitching. So what I'm going to do is when I get to this point, I'm going to kind of not really push it, or I'm just going to kind of encourage that piece to go down and just stay as close to this edge without going way out of the line that I've already started, so it doesn't look like I've swerved, like driving down the road and you swerve off the road or something, without doing that, to try to keep that from showing up in my face. So I'm going to, and without trying to pucker the bag either. I don't want to pucker the bag, but I'm going to give it a pull here. Not a pull, but yeah, I think I'm going to try to pull this vinyl down. There we go. I don't know why it's pulling up like that. Maybe when I pushed it down, the actual band shifted upwards, and that might be the part of the problem. So let's get this. There we go. That might work. Hold that down. I'm just going to keep it. There we go. That should work. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to probably work with it a little more once I get closer to it. If it shifts, see, I can see that it wants to, because it's the layers. It's just all right. So I'm at the spot where it looks. I think I'm okay. I gotta go up a little bit. I didn't tack it up this way. You know, honestly, the worst fear was skipped stitches. I didn't have any skipped stitches, but because I was holding on to this as I was moving it, some of my stitching did get closer. It was holding back my stitching, so some of my stitches got a little closer. But because, see, that's why I didn't use contrasting thread, because it's not as noticeable when it's a matching thread. But it still worked. It still looks pretty good. So there is my face, so my little hat. So he's looking like Santa. So the last thing that we're going to do is going to be the eyes and the cheeks. So the way she has it is you sew on your eyes. Again, my Santa has blue eyes. Because I want my Santa to have blue. And then after you sew these on, then you can put like a rivet. She's got a spot marking on the piece where you would put a rivet. And I just made a little dot right there just to let me know that's where the rivet goes, because the way the piece has it, if you look at the picture, it's kind of a little towards the inner part of the up and up and out is what I'm trying to say on the eye. It's not dead center or anything like that. So that will go there. Now we're going through 3 layers here, but this is a lot thinner. This piece is a little thinner, so we shouldn't have the issues that we had with that top piece. And the cheeks are made out of the same thing. It's the Rex Morpho leather, so it's thinner and easier to sew on. And these are little circles, so little ovals, I should say. These are a little more of maybe a longer. It's quite. I think they're more of a circle, maybe. I don't know. Okay, so we did that, and then let's get those sewn on real quick. Oh no, I need my red thread. I gotta change my thread. But I tell you what, I need, since I'm using blue eyes, I need a blue, you know, I wonder if my black thread will be okay. I'm going to use my black thread rather than go dig out another thread. We're going to use the black thread. It's still sitting here on my table. It'll be all right. So his cheeks, we got Santa's cheeks, so we're going to kind of put them like here. I think you can see what I'm doing by the camera. So we're going to put Santa's cheeks down here like that. And I'm just going to put just a tiny bit of tape in here. I did not put my watch on today, so I'm not sure what time it is. Sorry, guys. I gotta see what time it is. Okay. Sorry. Again, this is late. I've done, most everybody's gone to bed, so I'm just trying to get this, just trying to hurry up and not hurry up, but I'm just trying to get this done. Because I got to do, well, she calls him Snowy, I call him Frosty. So we got to do that one still. I'll record that hopefully I can record it tomorrow. All right. So his cheeks, looks good there. And I'm just basically posting. You can tell it's late, I can't talk. Putting his little cheeks right about the picture, trying to do it, just looking at the picture. All right, so that's that. I'm gonna go ahead and stick his eyes on while I'm at it, so we can have that done. And then when I do his eyes, all I gotta do is change the thread for his eyes. I can't use the red thread for his eyes because then it'll look like Santa's, but now too late. All right, so this is the top, and I need to put this one. I need to put, well, it don't really matter, because I've got it, I can remark it. All right. Oh, come on, tape. Work with me. There we go. Let's see. Before I smash that down, well, where's my other eye go? There it is, right in front of me. Before I push it down, I want to make sure they look like they're in a good spot. At least they're even, maybe. I don't want Santa to have lopsy eyes. That, I think we're okay. That works. All right, so let's go ahead again. Once again, change our thread. Sorry, guys. Change our thread. We're going to have to change it one more time. I do, like I said, I don't want to use the red thread on his eyes. That won't look right on the blue. And I'm just going to use black. I'd rather use a darker thread, and then, because honestly, I don't think I have a navy. I have a color that might work okay with it, but for that little bit, I'm not going to worry about it too much. It's like his mouth. If it was like something like this, that's a big piece, meaning it's a bigger piece, not necessarily a white or something, but if it was a bigger piece and a lot of the thread was going to show, I think I would be more concerned with being closer to the collar rather than just using a black to sew it on. I think that'll be okay. And quite honestly, I could just rivet the eye on and it probably would be okay. But I'm not going to do that. All right, so change that to my red. So let's go ahead. Now I'm going to have to pull these threads through because the start and stopping of the stitch will be visible. And these are really small pieces, obviously. So these, you have to be careful on the edges. I tend to go less than 1/8 of an inch when I sew the tiniest pieces, tiny ones. And obviously, you got to go really slow to keep it from looking silly. And it's, like I say, it's this little oval, so. I can go a little better on these long stretches. Or I should say a little faster. All right, let me pull my thread through. I've got it wrapped around enough to where I can pull my thread through and not be in the predicament I was in the other video where I'm just right up against the presser foot. So give me a second here. I got more working space here to do. There we go. There we got it. All right, so that's pulled through, and then we'll go ahead and finish it up. Again, when I get close to my starting point, I think I met it without having to hand crank it. I need to, hard to look. It's hard to see. The lighting isn't so great. I think I got to it. I'm pretty sure. Let me just raise the needle up. Yeah, I'm there. No, one more. That's it. All right. All right. So we're going to take this out, make sure the threads are pulled long. Cut. And then pull it through. Uh-oh, I don't know which thread I'm pulling through. That's got to be it. Sorry, I didn't hold my thread, my ending stitch, bobbin thread to know which thread to be careful to pull through, not try to pull through, because I've done it before, pull through. I'm going to leave this dangling. I'll tie those off later. No sense doing all that. We did that in the last video, so you know what I did when I tied them off. So I'm going to make these a little longer so I can hold on to them better and get this little cheek here. I'm just holding my threads so they don't get caught up, and they're there. There we go. Pull my thread through. I can never remember when I do this sometimes because I don't do it all the time. I always forget, and then I end up being in such a tight spot. No, that was easy. All right. And let's see how close I am. Yeah, I got a little bit. Probably one more stitch after this. I think I made it. Let me look. I'll do a slow crawl. I can see, okay, yeah. I didn't want to do that. It's okay. It's fine. It's not that noticeable. What I did was I accidentally went over the first stitch. So, and that's why you try to avoid, that's kind of like back stitching, and that's why you kind of try to avoid it, because sometimes you get that extra thickness of the two threads together, but it doesn't really that noticeable because I'm using a like thread, a matching thread, so it's not as noticeable. So I'm gonna leave those long. I'll tie those off later on. You don't need to see me tie all of that off. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my black thread, sew on the eyes, and then I'll show you real quick how I'm gonna do the ears and the little puff ball. I won't actually sew them on. Well, no, I'm not going to sew them on in this video. Only because that's going to be a lot longer, I think. I don't know. We'll see. I need to think for a second on how exactly we're going to do that, because I know what I'm going to have to do to make it look right. Because in my owl video, his brow that goes off the edge of the bag, this is, whoops, that's not right. It's different a little bit, in the owl video. So it's going to be a slightly different in this video, because the brow, there was a question that was raised in that one that I didn't stitch to the very end of the brow, which I get why she mentioned that. I couldn't personally come up with the way because of the way the brow sticks out, and I was worried it was going to get caught in the seam allowance. I myself couldn't come up with a way. I mean, I did stitch the middle of it out, so there was that stitching of it together, but I could not come up with a way to do that. So, but this is a little different in these, the ears and the little ball, the hat ball. So those will be a little different. Those will be a little actually easier to do. And again, we're going to be pulling our threads through on the eyes. So let's do this, and I'm going to just kind of, I got to be careful. I'm trying to rush. I'm trying not to make this video so long. Because I know people get bored with watching the same thing over again. Oh, I got to pull my thread through. Darn it. Sorry, guys. I should be able to get it pulled through. Yeah, it don't look too bad with the black on there. There we go. All right, so that's that. I got it pulled through. Again, where is my point? There it is. Okay. 1, 2, and we met. Okay. So we got that. I'm not going to even pull this thread through just yet. I'm going to, let's do it. It's easy. It's right there. So I got my threads pulled through. So I've got me a little nest of threads back here that I'm going to tie off camera. So right now I've got a bunch of threads hanging through. All right, let's get his other eye done. And I'll show you here in just a second. It's really not that noticeable that I am using a black thread to stitch around his eyes. But again, I think using a darker thread like this isn't as noticeable. It's not such a contrast. Did I pull this one through? Of course not. It's looking right at it. Give me a second, guys. I'm trying to rush. There we go. What did I do with my seam ripper? There it is. Get this one to come out. Usually you can just pop that the loop of the loop out, but this one's being stubborn. I think my well, you know what we're gonna do? I'm going to cheat. I cannot get that to come through. So I think, there we go. I don't know that's going to be noticeable. Nope, that's not that bad. So what I ended up doing, because I could not get it to pull through, I did a little tiny back stitch on it. And I tell you what, you don't really notice it. So we're not going to worry about tying those off. You can't tell. So here's the eyes. So there's Santa's face. And like I say, you can't, let me take my camera up a little bit. You can't really tell that I used black thread around the eyes, like I did his little mouth. So there's his little face there. I'll do I'll pull the camera back out when I'm done. So anyways, so that's that. Now, oh yeah, and I need to trim off these little edges here. I'll trim these off and straighten these up a little bit. Now, again, in the last video, I'd stated, because I'm just using like a interfacing, oh shoot, stabilizer. To sew this stuff on is just it's the Pellon Extra Firm Stabilizer. It's a sew-in. 926 is the number of it. It's kind of, to me, it's kind of use it for like embroidery. It's a little heavier than the embroidery. It's not, well, let's not say heavier. It's a little denser. So obviously I wouldn't use it for embroidery, but it's good for sewing. I think it's really good to hold it. Keep it in place. And I will be ironing, I will be putting Decafil Light on the back of this out of my seam allowances. That way, when I sew everything together, I won't have a lot of bulk. The only thing I'll have to worry about as far as extra bulk when I sew all my stuff together in the front is this piece right here. And I don't think that's going to be too much. If it gets to be too much, I can always trim back like behind this band. I can always trim that back a little bit. But I think we'll be fine. It's not like some of the other bags that I made that it is just crazy thick. Okay. Real fast, ears. So my ears, I made my ears out of the faux suede. So what I did is I've already cut out one each of the ears, okay? And I've got squares, little squares / rectangles, whatever you want to call these, made of this. So what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do that tonight. I don't think I'm not going to do a video on it only because it's pretty much self-explanatory. But basically, I'm going to stitch the ear to this piece here. So I'm going to stitch this on. I'm going to do this. I'm going to center it the best I can. And then I'm going to sew it on. Once it's sewn on, then I'm going to trim it around. Because what happens sometimes is when if I were to cut both out at the same time and then sewed it, there would be a little give or pull in some of this because again we have when you're using these thicker things, especially the faux suede, it gets caught on the presser foot and it'll pull and drag it. So we're gonna do is we're gonna sew it onto this first. And then we're going to trim it out and clean. So I will stitch around it just like I did, and I'll have it. And then what you're going to do with the ears, once the ears are ready to go, in order to get the ears to attach to the face, you're going to take the ear, find the placement what you're supposed to. What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to show you with my clippy. I'm going to do that. So you're going to put the right sides together on your placement of your ear like that. Your ear will have both. It'll be a two-sided piece. So you're going to, in essence, okay, so, you actually, it'll only be right sides. Sorry, I should have said that better. So basically what it'll be is you'll have it'll be a full piece. Each side you'll see, both sides of the ear, okay, the right sides, but you're going to put it, how do I word this? Face down. So when you put it down like this, when the bag is completed, after you complete the bag, the ear will, and it's stitched, let me do this a little bit. The ear will flip out. You'll flip the ear out and the ear will be flipped out and he'll have his ear like that on the bag. So it'll flip out. So you're going to sew it like this. It stays like this until the completion of the bag. And then once the bag's completed and turned inside out, the ear will pull out in the way the bag is made. The little poof on the top of the hat, if you choose to do that, that was done the same way. You will sew your pieces together. You will sew your little poof. This is the one here, or the puff, I should say. So this is the one that's cut out per the pattern piece. Sew it on wrong sides together I already drew a circle here. So you'll take it, put it wrong sides together, sew around it like that, and then trim it out so it all matches and it's nice and clean. And then you will sew the same way. You'll take this one, since this one doesn't have a right or a left, it's all, obviously it's all going to be the same. You'll sew the flat, there's a one edge of the puff that is a little straight. So you're going to sew it like this for the straight edge. Let's show you with the straight edge. You're going to take it and center it. Make sure you know where your center is, and you're just going to take from where the straight edge to the straight edge, make a little fold, and then what you could do, so you don't have to like mark it or anything, since it's a small piece, you're just going to take it and match it to the center of the top of your bag, and then like that, clip it on, and then just baste it on just like the ears. You're going to baste it. And then once the bag's complete and it's turned right side out, the little puff will pop out. Now, again, the ears and the puff are optional. You don't have to do it because they extend out. That might be an option that you may or may not want to do. I was going to do the ears, and this is, I think, one of the reasons why I may not do with the ears. I'm not 100% decided, because it looks cute in the picture, but once I kind of looking at the bag, I really like, let's get this off. I really like the way the bag face looks right now. I think, let me do this. Let me hold this up a little bit better. Move the camera. There we go. I really like the looks of this bag face right now. I think if I put ears on, and we'll just mock it up a little bit, we'll throw ear here. Let's see. And then the other ear here. So if we do ears, now that does look cute, but to me, I'm thinking it takes away from his face. Now the little puff at the top, that might be optional. It doesn't stick out real wide, and it's just going to be, whoops, I'm getting ready to drop it. And it's just going to be, when it's put together, there'll be a grab handle at the top of the bag. So that won't take away from the grab handle. It'll be behind it, and it'll be free flowing, but it won't be like the ears stick out like that. Because this will be the edge of the bag where the ears are. And then it'll be the gusset will be on the side. So the bag will be like this, and then the ears will just be sticking. Hold on a second. The ears will just be sticking straight out like that. Oh, that's not an ear. The ears will stick out like that when you've got your side of your bag. So it'll be free flowing. I don't know if I like that. It looks kind of cute in the picture, but I don't think I'm going to do the ears. I don't know. His little face. And again, when this bag gets all put together, I'm looking in my phone, and I'm seeing the puffs with the air pockets behind this little face. And but if you do this, see like this, and you pull it, you don't see it as much when you pull it. And that's what's going to happen when the bag gets put together. It's going to be pulled tight, and it's going to have all of that, all of that pulled out from it. But anyway, it's cute. I love it. His little face. So that's my Santa face. And I think I'm going to omit, I'm not going to do the ears. I'm pretty much leaning toward no ears, but the little poof on top, because that'll look cute. I think the poof on top will still give it the idea of like Santa's hat, the little point, how it flaps down, with that on top. That gives it the illusion of, his hat. So that's where we're at. So anyways, so we're all done with the face, like I said, except for the poof. I'm going to not do that because I have to switch my threads again. And just the way I explained it, I think I did a good job just by explaining it on how to do the poof, because that one's a little easier than the ears. If you do the ears, you just got to make sure you've got them orientated correctly when you put them on the sides of the bag, because obviously you don't want to put it to, and you know, quite honestly, looking at this, I want to say something real fast. I bet you, oh my gosh, this is silly. I just thought of it. When you sew them together, wrong sides together, it doesn't matter which way you put it on here, because it's all right sides exterior. It doesn't matter. I'm being goofy now. I am absolutely, it's late. I need to be done. So no matter which side you put it on, when you sew it on, it's going to flap out no matter what. So there you go. You don't need to worry about which side you put it on. It's not something that you need to worry about. You just need to make sure you sew them right sides together. Stitch them. I would stitch it first to a uncut piece. Stitch it and then trim it out so it matches fairly well. Some people will edge paint. When you've got these raw edges, you'll edge paint it to make it look finished. That's always an option. I only have black in edge painting, and I use it on a very few things. I'm not a great edge painter. It's something that I've just been recently doing, so I'm not fantastic at it. So I don't edge paint, especially since I only have black. That's not going to look right. Santa will have dirty ears, and I'm not going to do that. So anyway, but he will have this, and I don't need to worry about edge painting the white because the backing of this white, shimmer white, that's the front, that's the back, is white. So when you put these together, it is not going to be that big of a notice when you put them together and you have that, well, when you put them together, it's not going to be a huge notice. What I will do, though, is I will be real careful, but I'll run the lighter around the edge of it just to help seal those edges of it. And then I think it'll look fine. As long as I stitch close enough to the edge without looking so close where it doesn't look right, I believe it'll be fine. So, if you want to see the finished product when I get it complete, because this is it on the bag that you'll see on the bag until it's completely done and ready for sale. So, if you want to see the finished product, make sure you turn on your notification bells because that's when you'll see it when I post it for sale. If you aren't a subscriber and you found me just by searching, please go ahead and subscribe if you like my content. I know I got a little bit goofy here with the ears and stuff at the end. I apologize for that. I kind of made up my mind after I made it because, I mean, if you started watching the beginning, this is basically just me sewing this face together to give you any kind of ideas that you might want to come up with, help you out if you're not sure how to orientate it, and just kind of learn together because, I mean, last night when I cut this out last night, I didn't really orientate it real well to look at it real good. I just now actually did it when I first did it, when I did the first video earlier today. So this is kind of us learning together. And that's kind of why I'm doing this, to help others out. So, and again, if you want the full bag tutorial, the Hugo handbag, if you want the full tutorial how to make the complete bag, there are tutorials out there. There are many out there. That's why I haven't reached out to the pattern writer to ask to do a tutorial because there's a lot out there. And it's fairly simple construction on this bag. I just make my own modifications on the bag. Instead of doing a zipper pocket on the back, on the exterior back, I do a slip pocket. I do a zipper pocket on the interior front side of the bag instead of a slip pocket on the back side of the bag in the interior. So those are just my modifications. Again, though, if you want to see the finished product, please turn on your notification bells when I post this up for sale. That's when you'll see the completed product. Also, again, I have another one that I'm going to work on this week. It will be, she calls it snowy, so it's kind of like frosty, sort of. It's just, instead of a corn cob pipe and a button nose, he's got a carrot nose and no pipe on my on the bag. Now, if you wanted to be creative about it, you could come up with one. I mean, that's not always an option. You can always be real creative, which I'll go over that options and when I sew that one up. We'll go over the options on that bag. Different things you can mix it up with. So again, sorry I'm rambling. So again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're still with me, if you watched both tutorials, thank you so much. I just appreciate it. please, if you like this, please go ahead and like it. I know at the end I've gotten rambly, so I don't know if you'll end up liking the video in the end. Anyways, so, and get your notification bell so you can see me do these Frosty, and then I can post the bags for sale when they're completed. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Everyone, you have a great day. Bye.